Good morning, everybody. Okay, so today we're going to focus on our conclusion, and we want to make sure that our conclusion reflects on the experiences that we had with a person of a different generation, and that it really comes back full circle to re explain our life lesson. So, what you are wanting to do is to go back to your graphic organizer and go way up to the top to where we put that box of our focus. So, where it says like blank influenced blank by. Okay. And if you remember, I had my grandma, Julie, influenced me, Vanessa Benitez, by teaching me that I cannot rely on perfectionism because no one is perfect, and teaching me how to understand my anxiety. And that's really a life lesson that I took away from her. So I want to make sure that when I get to my conclusion, that it is almost a reflection paragraph about the person of a different generation, in this case, my grandmother, and also the lesson that she taught me, which is about perfectionism, like no one is perfect, as well as it's okay to have anxiety, but just know that you are always a work in progress. Okay, so I really want to make sure those words are in my conclusion. So I've started it, but I'm having trouble finishing it. So I'm going to do it with you. So I started with grandma. Grandma always had a way of making things better through words, through fresh baked food, or through hugs. And if you notice my again and again, through. That terrible day of teaching taught me that I needed to rely on my family in times of struggle and despair. I often figured grandma had her life together, but she made me realize that sometimes it's okay to fall apart. I think I want to bring up her stroke and how that changed her. So maybe how grandma also had difficulty and maybe hid it from us, but when I brought up my difficulties, she was vulnerable enough to share hers. So maybe I say vulnerability is tough. Vulnerability. What is vulnerability? You might be wondering what that is. Vulnerability is showing your weaknesses or what you consider to be weak. But it's not necessarily weakness. Vulnerability is something strong. So vulnerability is strength. That is what my grandma Julie. It's okay to um, show your struggles with others because more than likely they will share back. After all, we're all a work in progress. And that's kind of my big lesson, is a work in progress. And maybe if I didn't have a title, I could call it a work in progress. Maybe I want to go back up and change my title now. I like the title. But we are all a work in progress. And I really wanted to emphasize those last words because that's the lesson that she taught me. So even if you feel like you've ended your story well with the last event, like I could technically say this last paragraph is my conclusion, but really your conclusion is going to be a reflective paragraph. And that looks a little bit different than our model from Grounded, because in Grounded, they kind of just stop the story. We are adding a reflective side to our paragraph. So that is what you need to focus on today if you do not have a reflective conclusion. And obviously, this is available for you on Schoology as well. So making sure that you really reflect on who is the person, what do they mean to me, and what is the life lesson that they taught me, all right? And why is it an influence in my life today?